It is a fact that students who study art are 4 times more likely to be recognized for academic achievement and 3 times more likely to be awarded for school attendance. Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Stephanie Bryant, coming to you from the state capitol. Joining me is Dr. Todd Herman, the Executive Director of the Arkansas Arts Center. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Well, talk about just the brief history of the Arkansas Arts Center.
Well, the Arkansas Arts Center really began as the Museum of Fine Arts in 1937. And then it wasn't until the early 1960s that we added what we refer to as the other pillars of the Arkansas Arts Center. And those pillars are a museum with a world-renowned collection, an international collection, and a children's theater, and an art school. And those 3 pillars filter up into our state services program, which includes an artmobile and children's theater on tour, which travel throughout the state, bringing the arts to the people around Arkansas.
And just talk about that, the importance of introducing art to children.
Well, we know that children learn in different ways, and many children learn visually. They learn through hearing. And with the arts in particular, it's a way to instill self-confidence in a child that might not otherwise have it. Because when it comes to the arts, there isn't really a right or a wrong answer. And so a child who might not be excelling in, say, science or math might do very well in an art class where they are asked to express themselves. And that expression can't be right or wrong. And that builds self-confidence in a child. And what we see is that self-confidence translates into other courses. They are more likely to ask questions of their teachers. They are more likely to participate in other classes. And that kind of helps the child overall in their academic career.
So it definitely can be used as a creative expression tool.
Absolutely. And it's something that is innate in all of us. I mean, if you think about a young child, you give them a coloring book and some crayons, they are so incredibly excited to express themselves, to put color on paper and to make something. And I think that stays with us through all of our lives. We are infatuated with our creative energies, and that's something that is uniquely human and something that we need to nourish.
Well, one thing you mentioned is that the Art Center is also a museum home to many different exhibits and displays. You have one going on now through June. Talk about it.
Well, currently we have, in addition to our permanent collection, which is always on view, we also have an exhibition called The Crossroads of Memory, Carol Clore in the American South, and that is open until June 1st. And Carol Clore is probably the most significant painter to come out of Arkansas. Born in Earle, Arkansas, which is in the Eastern Delta. And he traveled around the world. He lived in New York, worked in New York, traveled throughout Europe. And he was actually sitting in a cafe in Venice when he decided what the themes of his paintings were going to be, and that was his childhood growing up on the farm in Earle, Arkansas. And he started to write down a long list of the titles of paintings that he would create. And so when you go through this exhibition of 86 works, you really get a sense of family, of home, of a real Southern sense of place. And you feel like you know him and you know where he came from, even if you're not familiar with Earle, Arkansas. And it really is just a beautiful, interesting exhibition. In fact, when he was painting in Memphis, he was pulling in a lot of things that were happening at the time, like civil rights and so on.
All right, thank you so much. For more information on today's topic, you can visit arkansasartscenter.org. Today's Comcast Newsmakers guest was Dr. Todd Herman, the Executive Director of the Arkansas Arts Center.